The return of Missy's first marriage for season 2 brings with it the promise of laughter, heartfelt moments, and the quirky family dynamics that made the first season a surprise cult favorite. But if the showrunners want to avoid squandering their momentum, there's one glaring narrative thread from season 1 that demands attention. And without fixing it, the show risks undercutting everything it has built so far. That thread, Missy's agency in her own story. In season 1, we met Missy Carter, a whip-smart, impulsive, and hopelessly romantic 28-year-old navigating her first real shot at love, and her first walk down the aisle. The concept was brilliant in its relatability and chaos. A woman marrying young for all the wrong reasons, and trying to make it work, not just with her new husband, but with her equally chaotic circle of friends and a family that vacillates between hilarious and heartbreakingly realistic. Viewers were drawn in by Missy's charm, her flaws, and her uniquely millennial flavor of optimism that says, "I can fix this," even when everything's burning down around her. But by the time the finale aired, something about her story arc left a sour taste, not because she failed, but because the show failed her. The problem, Missy became a passenger in her own life. As the season progressed, what started as Missy's deeply personal, often comedic journey into the world of marriage slowly morphed into something else. She stopped being the engine of the story and instead became the vehicle for everyone else's arcs. Her husband, Dan, was given extended screen time to explore his past traumas. Her best friend, Jules, became the surprise breakout, given her own romantic subplot and moments of emotional growth. Even Missy's overbearing mother got a monologue that had Emmy bait written all over it. And Missy, she reacted. She panicked, overcorrected, apologized, laughed, all the things a comedic protagonist does, but rarely initiated meaningful change. Rarely made a bold, unequivocal choice that shaped her own destiny. Her marriage, ostensibly the central premise, became something happening to her, rather than something she actively built or deconstructed. By the time the credits rolled on the season finale, viewers were left wondering not just what would happen next, but what Missy wanted at all. Season 2 has a golden opportunity. Here's the thing, this is not an insurmountable problem. In fact, it's one of the most fixable missteps a show can make. Character agency can be rekindled, direction reestablished, and a protagonist given her due. But to do that, Missy's first marriage season 2 must confront the question it skirted all through season 1. What does Missy want, and what is she willing to do to get it? Whether her marriage survives or crumbles, whether she moves cities or starts a business, whether she finally tells off her mother or realizes she's become just like her, it doesn't matter. What matters is that Missy makes the choice, that we see her not as the comic relief in her own drama, but as the driver of the narrative, flawed and flailing though she may be. And that's where season 2 can shine. Where season 2 could go, and needs to go. There are already breadcrumbs in season 1 that season 2 can build on. Missy's unrealized dream of starting her own floral design business, repeatedly referenced but never acted upon, is one such thread. A mid-season arc about her pursuing it, facing rejection, battling imposter syndrome, and maybe even outshining her more together, peers would not only be ripe with comedy but allow her to grow. Another option, dive into the murkier waters of marital dissatisfaction. Show us a Missy who thought she knew what love looked like, who married for the idea of stability, but who is now questioning whether forever is a decision or a life sentence. Give her temptation, give her therapy, give her agency. Let her leave if she wants to. Let her stay for the right reasons if she chooses. But whatever happens, let Missy choose. Why it matters. In the era of peak TV, audiences are savvy. We don't just watch shows for laughs, we watch for emotional resonance, for moments that reflect our own struggles and triumphs. When we see a character as bright and brash and complicated as Missy, we want her to succeed or fail gloriously on her own terms. To keep Missy sidelined in her own life is to waste one of the show's greatest assets, not just because it's narratively lazy, but because it sends the wrong message. Women protagonists, especially comedic ones, are too often written as reactors, juggling the chaos of others without ever being allowed to start their own fire. Missy should be setting matches to the kindling of her old life, not just sweeping up the ashes. Let's talk tone. One of the most brilliant things about Missy's first marriage is its tonal tightrope walk. It's equal parts Fleabag, You're the Worst, and The Mindy Project, funny, tragic, awkward, and sometimes devastating. That tone is the perfect incubator for character growth. It doesn't need a dramatic tonal shift to empower Missy. In fact, it would be jarring if they tried. What they can do is maintain the same lightness and wit, but seed in deeper emotional honesty. Give us the moment where Missy is laughing at a party and realizes she's deeply unhappy, or the scene where she sabotages something good because she doesn't think she deserves it, or the confrontation where she finally says, "This isn't what I wanted, but I'm going to figure out what is." Final word. Missy's first marriage may not last, and that's okay. Viewers didn't tune in because they believed in happily ever after. They tuned in because they believed in Missy. In her heart, her chaos, her jokes, her flaws. Season 2 doesn't need to reinvent the wheel or push her into melodrama. It just needs to remember who the show is about. If Missy's first marriage returns without correcting the course, without giving its lead her narrative due, it won't just be a missed opportunity. It'll be a betrayal of the very premise the show promised. Let Missy steer, let her crash, let her fly, but above all, let her drive.